When Tupac Shakur and the Notorious B.I.G. passed away, many believed the era of raw, fearless gangster rap had ended forever. The streets had lost their loudest voices.
X gon' give it to ya, he gon' give it to ya. X gon' give it to ya, he gon' give it to ya. Gon' make me lose my mind. Up in here, y'all gon' make me drop. Shut 'em down, open up shop. Oh.
But in the late 1990s, a new sound emerged. Angrier, darker, more desperate. That sound belonged to DMX. Born Earl Simmons on December 18, 1970, in Mount Vernon, New York, DMX did not enter the world with privilege or comfort. He entered it surrounded by instability, violence, and neglect. From the very beginning, life felt like a fight he never asked for. Earl was a sickly child, suffering from asthma and various allergies. Even childhood accidents followed him, once being hit by a drunk driver who ran a red light. While the insurance company offered compensation, the money was refused, and Earl returned to a home that never felt safe. His mother was deeply religious, but faith did not translate into warmth or protection for her son. Instead of love, Earl experienced rejection. Whenever he tried to share his achievements or excitement, he was silenced. "Go to your room" became a familiar sentence. The home was often filled with strangers, and Earl learned early that he came second to everything else. As the years passed, discipline turned into brutality. His mother believed that fear was the only...
You never got to have that mommy experience.
No. And she never, not once, she ever told me that she loved me.
only way to control him. Extension cords, hangers, sticks, and closed fists became routine. Sometimes the beatings came without explanation. Other times they came while he was asleep. When the pain triggered asthma attacks, she would rush him to the hospital, only to repeat the cycle again. The psychological damage was severe. School became another battlefield. Earl lashed out, throwing chairs, insulting teachers, and fighting classmates. His anger was not random. It was the voice of a child who had never been allowed to speak. The only place that felt like home was his grandmother's house. There, Earl experienced something rare: affection. She allowed him outside, listened to him, and treated him like a child rather than a problem. But even that refuge couldn't erase the trauma waiting for him back home. Eventually, social services intervened. They decided his mother could no longer handle him. Earl was sent away to boarding school, beginning a life defined by institutions instead of family. It was the first of many times he would be locked away, not for crimes, but for being broken. This was not just the beginning of DMX's story. It was the foundation of his pain. At boarding school, Earl Simmons showed flashes of brilliance. He learned quickly, made friends, and even earned money. But trouble followed him everywhere. A fire broke out during a reckless moment, and although he wasn't alone, Earl took the blame. Isolation returned, restricted movement, forbidden common areas, and the familiar feeling of being punished harder than everyone else. After leaving boarding school, he briefly attended a school for high achievers in a wealthy neighborhood. The contrast was cruel. Surrounded by privilege he could never touch, Earl was eventually pulled out and homeschooled. At home, the abuse continued, more violent, more unpredictable. When he finally became strong enough to fight back, his mother adapted. She attacked him in his sleep. These moments planted dark...
Even though he wasn't there, I don't really know him, but I know enough to know that I'm glad he didn't raise me.
Is that disappointing?
Nope. And when I first went, I was mad. You know, I had to... What was you? And in a calm voice, he explained to me. I was homeless.
Thoughts in Earl's mind, thoughts of violence, revenge, and escape. But no matter how much he was hurt, he never stopped loving her. That contradiction haunted him for life. With no safety at home, Earl turned to the streets. He found comfort in stray dogs, drawn to their loyalty and honesty. Dogs didn't lie. Dogs didn't abandon you. They protected him when humans never did. He hid them on rooftops, slept beside them, and treated them like family. Then came betrayal disguised as kindness. His mother took him to a shelter under the pretense of a tour and left him there. Holidays came and went. Every child was picked up. Earl was the only one left behind. That moment changed him forever. At the shelter, Earl was introduced to hip-hop. Music became an outlet for everything he couldn't say. He experimented with rhymes, beatboxing, and adopted the name DMX, inspired by a popular drum machine. For the first time, he felt seen, not as a problem, but as a voice. After being released, Earl had nowhere to go. He slept on streets, rooftops, and even inside garbage containers. Survival meant stealing. His first robbery earned him $1,000, money he spent on his dog, Blackie, and a pair of Timberland boots. The streets rewarded crime faster than school ever did. Soon, petty theft turned into armed robberies. Drug dealers became targets. Fear became currency. DMX robbed multiple times a day, building a reputation that made him feel powerful for the first time in his life. But the streets also introduced him to drugs. At just 14, he tried crack cocaine, handed to him by someone he trusted. That moment would follow him for decades. When his beloved dog, Blackie, was killed by police, Earl snapped. Juvenile detention followed, then escape, then arrest again. Jail became familiar. Pain became normal. The streets had officially raised him. After years of incarceration, survival, and chaos, DMX finally focused on music seriously. He began recording raw, aggressive tracks that reflected his life exactly as it was. No polish, no fake smiles, no filters. His voice was different. It wasn't smooth. It wasn't radio-friendly. It sounded wounded. And that was the point. Early industry opportunities failed him. Labels didn't know what to do with his intensity. Some executives saw him as unmarketable. Others tried to soften his image. DMX refused. He wasn't here to be liked. He was here to be heard. Everything changed in 1998. His debut single, Get At Me Dog, exploded. The streets recognized authenticity immediately. When his first album, Dark and Hell Is Hot, dropped, it debuted at #1 on the Billboard charts. DMX wasn't just successful, he was unavoidable. That same year, he released a second album, Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood. It also debuted at #1, selling hundreds of thousands of copies in its first week. DMX became the first rapper to release 2 #1 albums in the same year. His music was brutal, spiritual, emotional, and unpredictable. He prayed, he barked, he screamed, he cried. Fans felt his pain because it was real. Hollywood followed. Roles in films like Belly, Romeo Must Die, and Exit Wounds expanded his influence. DMX was no longer just a rapper, he was a cultural force. But success didn't heal him. Even as DMX made millions, his inner demons remained undefeated. Addiction followed him everywhere. Legal trouble became routine. Arrests for drugs, assault, probation violations, and animal cruelty dominated headlines. Rehab attempts failed repeatedly. Jail sentences piled up. Each release was followed by another relapse. Fans watched their hero self-destruct in real time. Album sales declined. Public faith weakened. But on stage, DMX remained electric. His energy never faded. His pain fueled every performance. Despite moments of sobriety, often inspired by his children, addiction always found its way back. Crack cocaine, alcohol, and prescription drugs controlled his life. By the 2010s, DMX looked exhausted. His body carried decades of abuse. Still, he kept going. Still, he performed. But the cycle never stopped. In April 2021, DMX suffered a cocaine-induced heart attack. By the time help arrived, his brain had gone without oxygen for too long. On April 9, 2021, Earl Simmons passed away at age 50. The world mourned. His posthumous album Exodus received praise, reminding fans of his greatness. Tributes poured in from artists across generations. DMX wasn't perfect, but he was honest. His legacy isn't just music, it's survival. It's pain turned into power. It's truth without apology. DMX didn't escape his demons, but he made sure the world heard them scream. This was the story of DMX.